President Trump's aide, indicted in the classified documents case, pleaded not guilty to charges in federal court Thursday. Walt Nauta now faces 6 counts, including conspiracy to obstruct justice and concealing records. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now. Scott, thanks for being here. He finally found counsel in Florida. Walt Nauta, this valet, personal aide to former President Trump. Were you surprised by his decision to plead not guilty?
Not at all. Just surprised it took this long. I mean, it took a whole month and we're just finally now out of the starting gates. I mean, this is the basic blocking and tackling of a criminal case. An indictment comes down, you arraign the defendant. It took 3 attempts to get Walt Nauta in front of a judge with the requisite local lawyer to enter his not guilty plea. What does that mean? It means we've already delayed a trial and a case that is just going to be ripe for many more delays to come. Just now, the federal judge in Florida has set a calendar of what's going to come next. There'll be a couple hearings this month, a couple pre-trial hearings. There'll be an actual call to talk about the schedule and the trial dates, August 8th, 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time. But the trial date on the calendar right now, Bob, this August 14th trial date, it's a flat-out mirage. Isn't going to happen. Jack Smith, the special counsel, is trying to push it back to December. That might be aspirational, too. This is going to come right down into the primary and caucus schedule next year. A reminder, the Iowa caucuses mid-January.
What about the discovery process? Where does that stand in this case?
The prosecutors have a burden, as the federal government always does in federal prosecutions. They have to hand over potentially exculpatory evidence in short order. They're going to do that. But there's a basic dynamic here that works against the calendar or works with the calendar. What's Walt Nauta going to do? Is he going to remain a co-defendant, or will the Department of Justice pressure him, leverage him, try to get him to flip? We brought that question to one of the legal experts of the Southern District of Florida, longtime defense attorney Michelle Suskauer, who has practiced in these courtrooms. Listen to what she had to say.
Charges can be added. They can, to put pressure on the co-defendant, they can bring him in with his lawyer and say, look, we're going to offer you, you're going to walk. You'll do very, very little time, but this is what we want from you. Because obviously this would be a key witness. Is there any way to a conviction without Nauta? Of course there is. But would that be helpful to the government? Absolutely it would.
It's worth noting, we've seen a lot of Donald Trump with Walt Nauta in recent days, out there campaigning, out there at events. Potentially a noticeable, notorious thing to have 2 co-defendants still with each other, keeping each other
They're supposed
close.
to not be talking about the case.
That's a court order, right? I mean, he can't talk to Walt Nauta and any dozens of others about the case. And maybe they're abiding by that rule, but they're keeping each other close.
Do you believe the government still has a case if they can't get Walt Nauta to somehow flip or cooperate in an extensive way in detailing Trump's conduct?
Michelle Suskauer, from whom you just heard, says absolutely. It helps, but it isn't necessary. This is such a colorful, illustrative, some would say damning indictment. You recall what Bill Barr said a couple weeks ago. If just half of that is true, Trump is toast. It's a matter of getting to the trial date, though. It's just going to be elusive, like trying to grab water.
Summer in Miami already hot enough. It's going to only heat up on the legal front. Scott MacFarlane, thank you as always.
The world never stops growing, evolving. It demands energy that evolves with it. We're helping meet the challenge by delivering the energy we need today